Hey guys! Tonight we're exploring one of history's most paradoxical sleep challenges. How Japan's legendary samurai warriors balanced deadly alertness with desperately needed rest. Picture yourself standing rigid in full armor on a castle's moonlit walkway. Your eyelids feel like lead weights. But your hand never leaves your sword grip. The autumn wind carries the scent of pine and distant wood smoke as you fight the heaviness in your limbs. One moment of true sleep could mean death, either from an enemy ninja's blade or your commander's disciplinary rod. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Wherever you're listening right now, maybe curled up in bed in Toronto or riding a late train in Tokyo, drop a comment with your location and local time. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. You're a mid-ranking samurai in 1578, assigned to the dreaded Yoban, the overnight watch rotation. Your daimyo has made the stakes brutally clear through recent examples. Just last month, a guard was demoted to stable hand for being caught snoring, while another earned extra patrol shifts after successfully spotting infiltrators during his watch. The solution? Mastering neri-kuri, the armored microsleep. Your body learns to rest in stages. First, you lock your knees slightly bent in your hakama trousers, the stiff fabric helping maintain posture. Your kabuto helmet tilts forward just enough that the shikoro neck guards brace against your shoulders. Hands remain on your katana while your mind enters a twilight state, not quite asleep, but not fully awake. Historians still argue whether this was true rest or simply sensory deprivation, with some scrolls describing warriors who could recall entire conversations they dreamed during watch. The quirky reality? Many samurai developed what they called tachisakumi, standing dreams. Some claimed to have strategic breakthroughs in these states, like the famous case of Takeda retainer Obata Toramori, who reportedly devised a winning battle formation while technically on duty. His diary describes seeing a golden tiger arranging stones in his vision. Modern sleep scientists would call this a hypnagogic hallucination, but to Toramori, it was divine inspiration. Your biggest fear isn't just human enemies, it's nature itself. On rainy nights, the yoroi armor becomes a clammy second skin. In winter, the lacquered plates leach away body heat so effectively that some guards reportedly froze to death at their posts. There's even a record of one clever warrior who lined his armor with stolen merchant silk, until his shivering betrayed him with telltale rustling sounds. His punishment? Writing 100 lines of poetry about the virtues of discomfort. As the moon reaches its zenith, you enter the most dangerous phase, the hour before dawn, when human alertness plummets to its natural low. This is when ninja supposedly favored infiltration attempts, and when veteran guards would subtly pinch their inner thighs or chew bitter nigan leaves to stay conscious. Your eyelids flutter as you imagine warm futons in the barracks. But discipline holds. Morning will come, and with it, the blessed relief of your sleeping shift. But for now, you stand between worlds, half warrior, half statue, proving that even sleep could be a martial art. You stumble into the barracks as dawn breaks, your armor creaking with every stiff movement. What you crave more than food or sake is something civilians take for granted, a proper pillow. But this is a samurai garrison, where even sleep accessories follow Bushido's harsh logic. The Makora headrest awaiting you isn't some plush cushion. but a lacquered wooden cylinder as unforgiving as your sword training. These iconic samurai pillows served multiple brutal purposes. Their 4 to 6 inch height maintained elaborate warrior hairstyles overnight, because nothing says, "ready for battle," like perfectly preserved chanmage top knots at 3 a.m. The hard surface prevented deep sleep, keeping you in that sweet spot between rest and readiness. Some even had hollow centers so you could hear approaching footsteps better, turning your pillow into a primitive surveillance device. Historians still argue whether these were originally Chinese imports or a uniquely Japanese solution to battlefield sleep needs. The hierarchy of headrests reveals much about samurai society. High-ranking warriors might have black lacquered makora with family crests, while lowly foot soldiers made do with bamboo tubes stuffed with pebbles, which at least had the benefit of rattling if someone approached. There's even record of a 16th century daimyo who commissioned a headrest filled with mercury, not for comfort, but because the shifting liquid supposedly mimicked the restless spirit of battle. It leaked. Enter the greatest open secret of samurai sleep culture: the illicit padded pillow. Scrolls from the Edo period contain shocked reports of warriors secretly using makora stuffed with dried moss, the most common, silk scraps, for the romantics, rice husks, the pragmatic choice. One scandalous case of swan feathers, belonging to a famously soft, Kyoto-based samurai. The most bizarre variation? The namorabu or sleep flute, a hollow bamboo pillow that would whistle when the sleeper snored, waking them immediately. Accounts suggest these were mainly used by warriors prone to undignified nocturnal noises that might reveal their position during campaigns. Your own pillow bears the marks of generations, dents from armored heads, faint bloodstains from hurried awakenings, and that peculiar vanilla-like scent from the hinoki cedar oil used to polish it. As you finally lower your aching neck onto its unyielding surface, you realize this wooden cylinder has witnessed more warrior secrets than any battlefield. The last thing you remember is wondering if that faint groove matches the shape of your great-grandfather's skull. The war drums have been silent for 17 days now. You're not on the front lines. You're in the far more dangerous territory of siege boredom. The enemy castle still stands defiant, its rice stores reportedly plentiful, while your camp's supplies dwindle. This is when even the strictest commanders make concessions to human weakness through Namori Kyoyo, the sacred sleep contracts. These weren't mere permissions to nap, but elaborately worded legal documents signed by commanding officers. A surviving 1561 contract from the Siege of Odawara stipulates 2 45-minute combat naps per 24 hours. No more than 3 warriors sleeping simultaneously per unit. Mandatory helmet retention for rapid awakening. Absolute prohibition of dreaming aloud, a serious security risk. Historians still debate whether these contracts reflected compassion or cold calculus. The Takeda clan's records show they allocated sleep shifts based on archery accuracy tests. The better your morning arrow groupings, the better your nap slot. Meanwhile, the Uesugi forces famously tied sleep privileges to sentry duty performance, creating what might be history's first sleep deprivation-based incentive program. The process of redeeming nap time was ritualized to absurdity. You'd approach the sleep officer, usually a cranky veteran missing one eye. Present your verified kill tally or clean armor inspection record, and receive a wooden Namori Fuda token. This granted access to one of 3 sleep locations. 1. The tiger's den, a relatively sheltered spot behind supply crates. 2. The cicada perch, an elevated platform that kept you visible to comrades. 3. The dead man's corner, so named because it was inexplicably popular despite being in the latrine's splash zone. Quirkier still were the enforcement methods. The Date clan employed sleep monitors, who would place feathers under noses to check breathing depth, balance pebbles on foreheads to detect motion, occasionally tickle feet with straw to test responsiveness. A 1587 diary entry from a besieged Mori warrior complains, "Received my sleep token after 3 nights' wait. Only to have Lord Kobayakawa's fool of a nephew start a fire alarm drill during my precious minutes." The contract says nothing about drill interruptions. As you finally claim your hard-earned rest in the tiger's den, you realize these contracts represent something revolutionary. The formal acknowledgement that even the fiercest warrior is, at core, a sleep-deprived mammal like any other. The last coherent thought before oblivion claims you. That pebble on your forehead better not be another damn test. The scent of burning mugwort fills the air as you kneel before the camp's resident dream interpreter. A wizened old warrior priest who hasn't slept properly in 30 years. Last night's vision still lingers, crimson carp swimming upstream through a battlefield, their scales turning into falling arrows. You watched yourself catch one in your bare hands before waking in a cold sweat. Now the entire company waits to hear whether this means glorious victory or humiliating defeat. Dream interpretation wasn't some superstitious sideshow for samurai. It was serious military intelligence. The Book Dream Records of 1423 required reading for all officers, cataloged over 600 standardized interpretations. Teeth falling out, impending betrayal, specifically from someone with bad teeth. Flying, promotion if ascending, death if descending, nakedness, good luck if admired, bad luck if mocked. Historians still argue whether these interpretations shaped dreams through expectation or simply reflected universal anxieties. The famous case of Date Masamune's one-eyed dragon dream suggests deliberate conditioning, after years of hearing that single-eyed creatures in dreams foretold greatness. He reportedly began seeing them regularly before major victories. The process of Yumi Uranai, dream divination, followed strict protocols. You'd report your dream to the interpreter at dawn. Before speaking to anyone else, he'd consult his manuals while considering your recent battles. Wounds often inspired dreams. The moon phase, full moon dreams carried extra weight. What you ate for dinner, pickled plums famously caused chaotic visions. Some clans developed bizarre enhancement techniques. The Shimazu family's dream arrows, special bamboo shafts fired into the air before sleep, were said to pierce the veil of trivial dreams. A surviving example in Kagoshima Museum still bears the inscription, "Fly straight to truth." The most peculiar practice? Strategic dream sharing. Before the 1575 Battle of Nagashino, Takeda Katsuyori ordered his entire vanguard to visualize swimming before sleeping. When over 60 warriors reported water dreams, he took it as a sign to attack near the river, a decision that, in hindsight, maybe should have been cross-checked with scouts. As the interpreter finally speaks, the carp signifies unexpected reinforcements. But only if they arrive before noon. you suppress a groan. Last week he declared a comrade's dream of eating peaches meant certain death, prompting the poor man to spend his entire savings on farewell sake, only to trip over his own sandal the next morning and break his wrist. Still, as you adjust your armor straps, you can't help searching the horizon for those promised reinforcements. The rhythm of your stallion's gait has become hypnotic after 17 hours in the saddle. Your thighs burn from gripping the Kura war saddle, your spine compressed from the constant jolting. Yet the order remains clear. The Takeda army must reach Shitaragahara by dawn. As your head nods forward for the third time, you employ the forbidden technique every cavalryman knows but none discuss openly: umanamori. The art of sleeping while riding. This wasn't mere dozing, it was a carefully cultivated survival skill. Samurai horses were specifically trained to maintain perfect formation without rein guidance, recognize their riders' breathing patterns shifting to sleep rhythm, avoid sudden movements that might awaken their dozing master. Historical accounts suggest the best cavalry mounts could travel up to 4 kilometers, with sleeping riders. The 1587 Cavalry Training Manual from the Hojo clan includes detailed instructions on sleep posture stabilization, recommending warriors: 1. Loop the reins around the waist for security. 2. Cross the arms over the chest to prevent arm flailing. 3. Angle the helmet forward to obscure closed eyes. Historians still debate how much actual sleep was possible. While some scrolls boast of warriors completing entire night marches in blessed slumber, others warn against the false sleep of exhaustion that steals both rest and alertness. Modern equestrian experts estimate riders likely entered light stage 1 sleep at best, though that might explain certain battlefield accounts of sleep charging warriors allegedly fighting half asleep. The dangers were very real. The Uesugi clan's records list 17 cavalrymen killed in 1561 alone from falling onto spear racks, riding into trees, most embarrassingly, sliding backward off horses while asleep, hence the development of the sodegurami, sleeve hooks that caught on saddle horns. Your own horse, a veteran of 7 campaigns, knows the signs too well. As your grip slackens, she automatically adjusts her gait to a smoother stepping motion. Through some unspoken agreement, the entire cavalry unit begins synchronizing their breathing, the nighttime version of that eerie quiet before battle. The stars blur above as you hover in that precious threshold between sleep and wakefulness, trusting your life to a creature whose back has become your most dangerous bed. A sudden owl cry jolts you awake just in time to see the rider ahead of you listing dangerously to the left. Without thinking, you kick your mount forward and catch his sleeve, the oldest cavalry reflex in the book. He grunts thanks through dry lips, both of you pretending this near disaster never happened. The unspoken truth hangs in the night air. Every warrior here is one microsleep away from death. Yet all will deny it come morning. The bitter green froth coats your tongue as you drain the third bowl of matcha in as many hours. Your hands tremble slightly from the caffeine, but your eyes remain sharp as you scan the pre-dawn horizon for enemy movement. Beside you, veteran warrior Mori Renmara stifles a yawn while preparing the next batch with ceremonial precision. This is Chaji no Namori, the tea sleep balancing act that fueled Japan's most famous battles. Samurai didn't just drink tea, they weaponized it. The Uesugi clan's 1578 campaign records show calculated caffeine cycling. First watch. Din yu sucha, low caffeine. Midnight. Thick koicha, triple strength. Pre-dawn. Warriors mix, with ground ginseng. The effects were so predictable that some commanders scheduled attacks based on the enemy's tea cycle. A captured Takeda scroll contains this intelligence note. Oda forces drink weak tea at hour of the rat. Attack when their bowls go cold. Historians still argue whether matcha's benefits outweighed its sleep disruption. While the caffeine clearly improved alertness, temple records show many veterans developed night eyes, chronic insomnia, phantom tea ceremony dreams, a peculiar condition called chajiri, where warriors would wake tasting tea during battles. The preparation rituals themselves became sleep deterrents. The precise steps, measuring powder, whisking at exact angles, even the sound of boiling water, created what modern psychologists would call alertness triggers. Your hands now move through the motions automatically. The familiar hiss of steam pulling you back from the edge of microsleep. Quirkier still were the emergency caffeine solutions. Chewing raw tea leaves during night marches. Snorting ground powder, mentioned in 3 separate Ronin diaries. The infamous hell brew over steeped tea with added hot pepper. As dawn's first light stains the sky, you accept the 4th bowl from Rinmara. The thick paste coats your mouth like liquid earth. Its bitterness now comforting in its familiarity. Somewhere beyond these walls, enemy soldiers are likely doing the same. 2 forces sustained not by food or sleep, but by powdered leaves and willpower. The realization strikes you as profoundly ridiculous even as you raise the next invigorating sip to your lips. You slip through a hidden panel in the castle's outer wall, your fingertips brushing centuries-old dust as you enter one of the fortress's best-kept secrets, the Namori Doko. A sleeping niche designed for warriors on extended alert. The space is barely larger than a coffin, yet ingeniously designed. Angled walls that prevent deep slumber. A small air vent bringing whispers from the guard posts above. And most crucially, complete concealment from casual inspection. These architectural sleep solutions reveal how seriously castles were designed around warrior rest. The Matsumoto Castle complex alone contained 37 official alertness alcoves, 12 camouflaged sleeping closets, 5 emergency rest compartments behind sliding wall panels. Historians still debate whether these were originally storage spaces repurposed by exhausted guards or deliberately designed features. The famous architect Todo Takatora's blueprints show precise measurements for short rest recesses, suggesting at least some were intentional. The hierarchy of sleep spaces was ruthlessly enforced. 1. Tiger dens. Prime locations near warm chimneys, officers only. 2. Cicada perches. Elevated slots with good sight lines, veteran warriors. 3. Badger holes. Cramped ground-level cubbies, low-ranking soldiers. 4. The eel bed. A notorious crawl space that flooded during rains, punishment detail. Your current nook belongs to the second category. Its wooden walls bearing generations of warrior graffiti. Tallies tracking sleepless nights. Crude drawings of mythical sleep demons. One poetic lament about pillows harder than a general's heart. The most peculiar feature is the Namori Mado, a tiny peephole angled to show the castle's moon viewing platform. Tradition claims that gazing at the moon through this aperture granted precisely 27 minutes of restorative sleep. You're skeptical. But as moonlight filters through the narrow opening, your eyelids grow heavy on schedule. The castle's stones seem to whisper that this secret has cradled warriors for centuries, and will outlast you by centuries more. The scent of burning sakari leaves stings your nostrils as you kneel before your armor stand, performing the nightly ritual that might, just might, keep the nightmares at bay. Your helmet stares back with hollow eyes as you whisper the seventh prayer of the Umeharai ceremony. The one that supposedly repels dreams of drowning in enemy blood. Outside your quarters, a junior retainer nervously clutches the ritual checklist, ensuring no step is missed in this elaborate psychological armor against the night. Samurai dream protection rituals, blended Shinto purification, Buddhist mantras, and pure battlefield superstition. The Uesugi clan's 1581 Dream Defense Manual prescribed directional precautions. Sleeping with head pointing northeast, the demon gate, was strictly forbidden. Armor arrangement: helmets placed at the foot of the bed to trap bad dreams. Sound barriers: small bells hung from bedrolls to disrupt evil spirits' whispers. Historians still argue whether these practices actually improved sleep quality or simply created placebo effects. The case of Takeda General Amari Toriyasu suggests real impact. His detailed dream journals show 80% fewer combat nightmares after adopting a complex pre-sleep ritual involving salted plums and a recited multiplication table. The most bizarre wardings included the reverse kimono method, sleeping with undergarments inside out to confuse dream demons. Rice pillow magic, burying uncooked rice beneath one's pillow to absorb bad visions. Sword swaddling, wrapping one's katana in special dream-repelling paper every night. Your own routine has evolved through trial and error. The lavender sachet from your wife seems to help, though you'd never admit it to comrades. The real secret weapon? That absurd badger-shaped dreamcatcher your youngest daughter made. Its lopsided grin somehow more effective than any scripture at keeping the war horrors at bay. As you finally lie down, the ritual complete, a stray thought surfaces. Perhaps the true function of these ceremonies wasn't to repel nightmares, but to convince warriors they had some control over the uncontrollable. The last thing you see before sleep claims you is the badger charm swaying gently in the night breeze, its beady eyes standing sentinel against the darkness. Moonlight filters through the broken roof of the abandoned temple as you curl into what might charitably be called a sleeping position. Your katana rests unsheathed across your lap, its cold steel the only certainty in your precarious existence. Gone are the castle's sleep niches and tea-regulated schedules. Now you're a ronin, a masterless samurai, which means mastering the art of sleeping like prey instead of a predator. The ronin sleep experience was shaped by brutal necessity. The one ear up technique, sleeping with your right ear pressed to the ground to detect approaching footsteps. Tree nesting, fashioning makeshift beds in branches, inspired by monk parrots observed in Kyushu. Graveyard shifts, actually sleeping in cemeteries, where your presence would attract less suspicion. Historians still debate whether masterless samurai developed better survival instincts or just chronic paranoia. The famous case of Miyamoto Musashi suggests both. His Book of Five Rings includes detailed observations on how different surfaces affect combat readiness upon waking, likely honed during years of homeless wandering. The most ingenious ronin sleep solutions included sake-soaked rope barriers, crisscrossed around sleeping areas to make noise when disturbed. Firefly traps captured insects in paper lanterns that would dim when someone approached. The beggar's clock, letting a slow-leaking water drip fall on one's forehead to prevent deep sleep. You've developed your own system. Tonight's bed is a stolen fisherman's net stretched between two pillars, suspended just high enough to complicate any would-be attacker's approach. The remaining temple statues stare with blank eyes as you drift into something resembling rest. Somewhere in the distance, a real beggar coughs. Or maybe it's another Ronin signaling his presence without words. Either way, you adjust your grip on the sword and enter that peculiar state between sleep and vigilance that has kept you alive these past 18 months. Tomorrow you'll either find employment or starve. But tonight you've outsmarted the darkness once more. As the first birds begin their dawn chorus, you realize with grim satisfaction that you've slept better than any castle-bound samurai, because when you're this hungry, even half-sleep feels like a feast. The water clock's final droplet falls with a soft plink onto the bronze plate below, its echo amplified in the pre-dawn stillness. You jolt upright, not from the sound itself, but from the junior attendant's fan immediately swatting your shin. This is Mokudoke timekeeping at its most brutal, where ancient technology and human enforcement collide to rouse warriors with ruthless efficiency. Samurai alarm systems were exercises in creative cruelty. Candle clocks, notched shokudai candles that would drop hot wax on a metal tray at set intervals. Incense ropes, specially blended senko sticks designed to emit coughing-inducing smoke when fully burned. The rooster bribery system. Stable boys paid extra to position particularly loud fowl beneath offices' windows. Historians still argue whether these methods improved discipline or simply bred resentment. The 1615 Osaka Castle duty roster contains scribbled complaints about the third false dawn alarm this week, next to drawings of inventive violence against the timekeeping staff. The most bizarre wake-up inventions included the samurai sneezer, a pepper-dusted rope that would be tugged to create a sneezing chorus. Bridge of sighs, a deliberately creaky floorboard walkway to the latrines. Moon fan teams, servants who would wave large fans at sleeping warriors during bright moonlight, tricking them into thinking it was morning. Your personal nemesis is the castle's newest abomination, the Nezumi Karakuri, a mechanical mouse that runs along a timed track to nibble at sleepers' toes. Its creator, an overeager Portuguese-influenced engineer, claimed it was humane. The bandages on your left foot suggest otherwise. As you strap on your armor in the charcoal gray light of actual dawn, you make a silent vow: if you ever rise to command, you'll replace all these tortuous devices with one simple rule: let warriors sleep until the real sun appears. Then again, judging by the muffled curses echoing through the barracks, you suspect even the sun itself would face mutiny if it dared rise too early. The castle's pre-dawn stillness is shattered by your lord's characteristic roar, not from his chambers, but from the training grounds below. You peer through the shutters to see him performing vigorous spear drills, his breath fogging in the cold air as if he's been awake for hours. It's an impressive display of warlord stamina. It's also complete theater. You personally helped his attendant carry the sleeping pallet back to his room just 2 hours ago after his secret midnight nap. Daimyo sleep habits were exercises in political theater. The ever-awake myth, publicly denying any need for sleep while maintaining elaborate hidden rest schedules. Strategic yawning, deliberate displays of exhaustion only before trusted vassals to appear relatable. Fake dawn rituals, rising before actual sunrise to be seen by the morning watch. Historians still debate whether figures like Takeda Shingen truly believed their own propaganda about needing only 3 hours of sleep. The recently discovered Moon Diary of Oda Nobunaga's physician suggests otherwise. It details 11 different herbal sleep aids prescribed to the supposedly indefatigable warlord. The most elaborate sleep deceptions included the mirror bedchamber, a room with strategically placed reflections to make one attendant appear to be multiple servants working through the night. False sleep talking. Lords would train themselves to mutter strategic secrets while pretending to doze. Cough synchronization. Entire staffs coordinating coughs to cover a snoring warlord's sounds. You watch as your lord notices you observing and beckons you down. By the time you reach the training ground, he's flawlessly executed 30 more spear thrusts without a trace of fatigue. As you bow, you catch the faintest whiff of the camphor oil his attendants rub on his face to mimic alertness. The unspoken truth hangs between you. This performance isn't for your benefit, but for the fresh recruits watching in awe from the barracks. Returning to your post, you ponder the irony. The men who could most afford proper sleep are the ones most terrified of being caught taking it. The castle's water clock drips mockingly as you assume your own carefully composed, alert posture, back straight, eyes sharp, while mentally composing the nap you'll steal behind the armory later. The rice paddy mud sucks at your sandals as you creep through the moonless night. Your pouch heavy with the most dangerous weapon in your arsenal, Namorimushi. The sleep-stealing powder. You're not here to kill the sentries, just to ensure they'll be groggy and irritable when your clan attacks at dawn. This is psychological warfare at its most subtle, where victory is measured in yawns rather than body counts. Ninja sleep disruption tactics were terrifyingly creative. Night River technique. Adding diuretic herbs to evening meals to force frequent bathroom breaks. Cicada tactics. Placing captured insects in strategic locations to create sleep-preventing chirps. False dawn illusions. Using shielded lanterns to mimic sunrise on specific guard posts. Historians still argue whether these methods were more effective than direct attacks. The 1582 Iga clan scroll Secrets of Sleep Thievery claims they once made an entire garrison believe they'd slept through a battle by carefully restaging the same moon phase 2 nights in row. Your current mission employs the infamous Neburiga Sori, a compound of ground kudzu root, causes mild disorientation. Fermented persimmon, induces dry mouth. The real secret ingredient, powdered copper ore that creates a metallic taste, making sentries repeatedly spit and stay awake. As you sprinkle the mixture near the barracks water jugs, you recall your sensei's words. The best sleep attack leaves no trace but exhaustion. Tomorrow, these warriors will blame their fatigue on bad dreams or poor discipline, never suspecting the true culprit. The most brilliant part? Your clan will attack precisely when human circadian rhythms dip lowest. That deadly hour between false dawn and real sunrise when eyelids grow heaviest. As you melt back into the shadows, you wonder which is crueler, killing a man, or letting him live knowing he failed his watch because he couldn't stay awake. The Zen master's bamboo rod cracks against your shoulder with precisely calibrated force, not enough to bruise. Just sufficient to jolt you from your fourth microsleep during evening zazen. The sword follows the mind. He intones. And your mind is currently following dreams. Around you, fellow samurai shift uncomfortably on their meditation cushions, each fighting the same battle against exhaustion. This is the ultimate humiliation. Warriors who've endured bloody battles being bested by their own eyelids. Monastic sleep philosophies clashed violently with warrior needs. The one-point method, focusing on the lower abdomen to maintain alertness, success rate 23% among soldiers. Breath counting, inhaling, exhaling in specific patterns. Most samurai reported losing count by the 20s. Sudden enlightenment, the promise that breakthrough insight would erase fatigue. Results varied wildly. Historians still debate whether Zen sleep training helped or hindered combat readiness. The curious case of Date Masamune's awakening suggests both. After 3 sleepless nights at a temple, he reportedly gained legendary focus, and also hallucinated dragon-shaped clouds for a week. The monastery's most brutal sleep prevention tools included the dripping eave position, meditating directly under roof runoff during rain, ice pillows, literal blocks of ice wrapped in thin cloth, peppered eye openers, cotton swabs dipped in mild pepper oil for drowsy eyelids. Your greatest shame comes during the Midnight Sutra recitation. As the chant reaches its 108th repetition, your head nods forward, only to snap up when you feel the master's presence beside you. Instead of striking, he quietly places a warm stone wrapped in silk against your neck. The unexpected kindness is more jarring than any blow. Even Buddha slept before enlightenment. He murmurs before moving on. By dawn's first light, you've reached an uneasy truce with your body's needs. The monks might view sleep as an illusion to transcend, but you've got a battle to fight tomorrow. As you bow farewell at the temple gates, you make a mental note. Next time, bribe the meditation hall attendant for a spot near the warm brazier. The scent of plum blossom incense mixes with the faint metallic tang of concealed weapons as you kneel in the dimly lit chamber. Your host, a rival clan's senior advisor, reclines artfully on a piled futon, ostensibly for comfort, but really to showcase his vulnerability. This is Namori no Ba, the sleeping place negotiations, where the most delicate political deals are struck in conditions mimicking intimate trust. These bedroom summit meetings followed strict unwritten rules. The host must recline first, proving the space is safe. No more than 2 pillows. Excess comfort suggests weakness. Tea instead of sake. Alcohol clouds judgment. But caffeine maintains alertness. Historians still argue whether more treaties were sealed in formal audience halls or these private sleeping quarters. The 1567 peace accord between the Imagawa and Takeda clans was famously negotiated entirely in a shared guest bedroom, with both lords in sleeping robes to demonstrate mutual vulnerability. The most peculiar pillow talk strategies included the shared blanket maneuver, offering to cover a rival's legs to force physical proximity. Pillow placement politics, arranging headrests at precise angles to control eye contact. Fake sleep talking, dropping crucial concessions as if murmuring in one's sleep. Your current negotiation hinges on a delicate balance. You must appear relaxed enough to show trust, but not so at ease as to seem naive. When your host, accidentally, lets his sleeve brush against your armor, you respond by loosening your obi sash one notch, the samurai equivalent of unbuttoning a jacket at a business dinner. As the night deepens, the real conversation begins in earnest between yawns and stretches. That offhand remark about supply routes? Carefully rehearsed. The seemingly casual question about northern defenses? The whole reason you're here. By the time the temple bell tolls the hour of the ox, you've secured everything your lord wanted, without either of you ever admitting to serious discussion. Dawn finds you both pretending to have slept terribly, exchanging exaggerated complaints about the hardness of the guest pillows. The junior attendants will never know the truth, that those pillows supported more political maneuvering than any battlefield ever could. The steam whistle shrieks across the training yard, its alien sound scattering the last of the morning fog, and the last pretense that things haven't changed. Your new Western-style uniform itches at the collar where the starched fabric rubs against your still proud samurai neck. The barracks now have actual beds with actual mattresses. The sort of luxury that would have gotten you mocked right off the battlefield a generation ago. You try to explain neri kari to the fresh-faced recruits, how warriors once slept standing in armor, but their eyes glaze over between rifle drills. The young ones sleep deeply, carelessly, their dreams untroubled by the ghosts of older ways. Sometimes you catch yourself dozing upright out of habit, only to jerk awake when your chin touches this strange new wool tunic instead of familiar lacquered armor. Historians will later debate exactly when the art of tactical samurai sleep died. Maybe it was when electric lights made night watches obsolete. Factory whistles replaced water clocks. The last Makora craftsman closed his shop. But you know the truth. It died in moments like this, when you open your mouth to share some hard-won sleep wisdom. Then close it again. Because what use is Umanamori horsemanship in an age of locomotives? So tonight, you'll perform one last private ritual. You'll lay out your grandfather's wooden headrest. Wrap yourself in an old campaign map instead of a futon. And let the memories of 1,000 dangerous naps carry you into dreams of moonlit guard shifts and stolen castle nook rests. The future may have beds with springs and feathers. But tonight, just tonight, you'll sleep like a proper warrior one last time.